Ladies and gentlemen, Free Preacher presents The Gospel According to Jesus.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm saying. There's another new one for you, folks. We like doing the new one. This one is 5 questions. It's going to be 5 questions, and they're very important questions. I know you've heard them before. But you've never heard them like this. Who? What? When? Where? Why? Who? What? When? Where? Why? I got some answers. Who? That's Jesus. That's who. That's the one. That's the who that matters. Yeah, buddy. What? That's salvation. That's the what. Salvation, you got to get it the way He told you to get it. When? Do it right here, right now, while you're on earth, man. You ain't going to get the chance to do it later. You better do it right now. Where? Right here on earth. You choose Jesus, so then you can go over yonder and be somewhere up over the rainbow. Why? Because there ain't no other way in than what He told you. What He told you about, that gets you in, and nothing else gets you in. Let's take it home now, man. Who, what, when, where, why. I'm going to get into that here in a minute, folks. We're going to do, Rupert's got him some Roop of the Day. He wants to fit it in. He's going to be pulling them from the Bible now. He got a spot in the Bible. I'm coming back to the who, what, when, where, and why. That's today's message.
Yeah, I was checking out John while I was home, and was in the first chapter. So if you want to read in the Bible along with it, it's right at the end of the first chapter. And it says, when Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said to him, "Here's a true Israelite in whom there is nothing false." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked, and Jesus answered, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You shall see greater things than that." He added, "I tell you the truth. You shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." Now that's a special moment right there, that he's gonna enjoy, Nathanael. So I got to studying this, and there are some notes down here, and it says, at the beginning of Jesus' ministry, Nathanael acknowledged Jesus was this meaningful title, and later it was used for mockery. And that's the point that really got me. To think about how they mocked him, calling him the same title that Nathanael called him to honor him. And I thought of all the times I've been in an argument with somebody and they mocked me. Or people mock each other and they go, "Oh, well, yeah, but you said this and you said that and la, 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 la." And I thought, wow, that's really evil to mock somebody.
They mocked Jesus.
So my message is simple. Don't mock people.
Quit
Don't
mocking up.
Quit mocking up. That's very good. That's original. We didn't plan that. You just came up with it.
I don't know. It just came to me. Quit mocking up, man.
Quit mocking up because it's evil.
Well, and it's evil. It's being mean. It's what it is. It's just a way to be mean without really showing that you're mean, but you are. It's mean. It's
You're
just
making
mean.
fun of somebody.
Making fun of somebody.
And I know it's just a very slight point, but that's the rip of the day is don't be mocking people.
Don't quit mocking up, man.
Quit mocking up. I love it. I
That's
love
right.
it. That's a special moment on this show right here. Because
we'll probably come back to that one, won't
we screw up so much that I wouldn't doubt that people could mock us.
we? Ought to write a song, "Quit Mocking Up," or something about
yeah,
mocking
yeah,
up.
Yeah, we'll put it on.
We
the
might do
agenda.
that. If that shows up on the show, folks, it was born in this moment right here.
Yeah, I love that idea.
That's Free
great.
Preacher Steve. If you couldn't read his sign, he's got the big sign, but we got it back behind him now, just to make sure you know who Free Preacher Steve is.
And I am not a robot.
I'm free. Yeah. I'm Free Preacher, but you don't need to know my name because I'm just Free Preacher. Walter's over here. He's our counselor. He's our advisor. He's the elder. Appreciate Walter being here. Samantha, beautiful job on the intros and the outros. Thank you so much, Samantha. And then we got Tommy as the tech guy, man. And we're just thrilled to be here for you. We're thrilled because Free Preacher is a movement. Free Preacher is a thing. It's all, the music's going to start coming together too over these next little while, these next shows.
Because we're starting to rehearse sometimes.
Yeah, we're actually doing a little rehearsing. We're writing some new songs. This who, what, when, where, why. That was, we didn't quite have the groove as good as we're going to get it. But, we're going to do it again and it'll be better next time. But the basic message, who, what, when, where, why. The first two, when you're talking about Jesus and salvation, the first two are beyond our control. Nobody controls that. Who? The Savior. The Lord and Commander. That's who.
Right.
Who else? Who else would it be? And what? The clear path to eternity he gave.
Right.
There's no negotiating that. Well, I want to go to heaven, but I want to do it my way. No. The next two, we got something to say about that. When and where.
Okay.
When do you go with Jesus? And where do you go? As soon as possible. Because you might live another 50 years, but you might be croaking tomorrow. And where? While you're still on earth. And you don't know how long that's going to be. So the when and the where, we kind of have a little say-so in there. But it still comes to if and when you will obey.
Well, when it comes to the sooner than later, think of all the treasure you can build up in 50 years.
See, that's a beautiful point. Right. If you die right there at the last second and you convert yourself, okay, I accept Jesus. I'm good, Jesus. I'm good to go. Boom, and then you're dead. Yeah, what kind of treasure are you going to get to lay up?
Not a whole lot.
Now, it might work good if you had $1 million in the bank and your last moment you signed it all over to some poor people and then died. But I mean, what's the odds of that? And plus, you got to count on being able to be alive enough to sign it over. Do what he said while you're here right now. Start doing it right now, because there's no way to get in because he was on the cross. Him being on the cross don't get you in. I don't know why they keep saying that. Jesus never even mentioned his cross. He never mentioned his cross one time. He mentioned your cross. He mentioned my cross. He said, take up your cross daily and follow my hard instructions. That's what he told us about the cross. He never mentioned being washed in the blood. He said that my blood was shed for the remission of sins. Well, that's not the forgiveness of sins. You keep sinning and he's just going to forgive you for it. You got to get the forgiveness the way he said. You get the forgiveness by forgiving. But the why, that's the haymaker. That's the knockout punch. That's the question that cuts to the heart. Why? Why not? There's reasons not to obey the master. There's many reasons. I'm the boss of me. That's fun, man. That's fun to run your own life. It's fun to be the boss of yourself. I'll live my life however I want to. Woo! That's what I used to say.
There's a lot of worldly reasons.
There's a whole lot of, and sin is fun. Wild sex is fun. Take whatever I can and get away with whatever I can. Hurt people back when they hurt you. It's just way more fun to put yourself first. That's why not to go with Jesus. some good reasons to not go with Jesus.
But they're worldly reasons.
They're all worldly and they're all temporary, and none of them bring any real lasting joy.
No.
None of them bring that deep inside joy. Yeah, you can have power, money, and prestige in this world, but this ain't the only where.
No, and if you do those things, then later on, let's say you finally do believe, you're going to regret those things.
Right, like me. I did all that stuff when I was young. But this ain't the only where. That's somewhere over the rainbow. That's the other where. And all of the stuff that the ego wants, you can't take with you when you go. You don't get to take none of that stuff with you when you go. And where you go, the heavenly treasure and the mansion you could inherit with authority to be ruler over many things is by keeping his red letter commandments and doing what Jesus said. Now we got some new signs coming, folks, for the D.W.J.S. This one and the other one we had last show, these are 20 years old. I made them up 20 years ago, man, pretty close to 20.
They look good for 20 years
Yeah,
old.
they still look kind of halfway good, but they're not going to look as good as the one we got coming. Got a professional D.W.J.S. sign is coming, and that's good, man. But I got to tell you, Jesus wasn't playing around. He was serious, man. And basically what he said, my way to go to heaven or take the highway to hell.
Oh, man, you're coming up with some good stuff this year. Yeah.
My way to heaven.
Don't mock it up and
Don't mock it up. Don't
muck it up.
Don't muck it up by mocking it up. No. Yeah, but I was wanting to talk about that kind of stuff right there. And then I want to talk about the money.
Okay.
You got something to fit in there before we get on the money?
Well, I was thinking about a story I heard about the three guys that borrowed like $100,000 from this guy, and they said, but you have to pay it back. And then the guy died,
Yeah.
and he's laying in the coffin, and the first guy comes with $100,000,
Yeah.
and he lays it in the coffin, and the second guy brings $100,000, and he lays it in the coffin. And then the third guy showed up, and he wrote a check. Put it in the coffin.
Oh no, the way I heard it was he wrote a check for $300,000
Oh,
and
okay.
took those $200,000 out and put the check for
That would be even
$300,000.
smarter, wouldn't it?
That'd be even worse.
Just, I like to joke around.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them old jokes too, because even though, especially even if you've heard it before, if you hadn't heard it in a long time, it's still funny.
Yeah.
To hear it again, to get reminded of them old jokes.
Yeah,
That's
he
like
paid him back. He put his check in there.
That's like that joke about the old comedian's home.
Okay.
You remember that one?
I don't.
They were up there in this old comedian's home. That's all. Everybody in there was an old comic,
Okay.
And somebody say 59. Everybody'd laugh,
Okay.
Somebody else say 32, and everybody'd laugh, And the new guy there saying, "Well, what's that about?" He said, "Well, they all know all the same old jokes,
Right.
So they got them categorized and cataloged and numbered, and when somebody thinks of one, they say it, and then they call out the number, and everybody remembers that joke, and everybody gets a laugh out of it."
Okay.
He said, "Well, could I do that? Could I try that?" He says, Sure, anybody could do it." And he says, 14. Nothing. Silence. He said, "Wasn't that one of them?" He says, "Yeah, 14 was one of them." He said, "I'm try again. 52. Nothing." He looked at the other guy and said, "Well, I guess just show you. It's all how you tell them."
I like it.
That's an old one too. I miss it. I can't beat on my Bible no more. I can't thump on my Bible when it's open. No, I ain't gonna thump on your Bible.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
can I thump on that Bible?
You can thump.
Bam! Oh, that felt good. Woo, that felt good right there, son. But folks, I want to talk to you about the money, because I'm telling you, Jesus was right on the money. And that's one that we were talking about the Seventh-day Adventists. They always want to talk about which day the Sabbath is, because they got that right. It's the seventh day. But they're wrong on the money, so that's what I want to talk about all the time is the money, because the way Jesus told us the money and the way any of these churches are telling us the money is different. And Jesus was right on the money. Give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven. That's the only place he told us to put your money, and that's the only way he told us that we could have treasure in heaven. That's two pretty important things there. That's a killer command, give to the poor. That's a commandment of Jesus.
Okay.
Straight from the Father. He brought
Right.
those commandments straight from the Father.
Right.
The Father said, get down there on planet Earth and tell them people, give to the poor.
Yeah, what did he tell to the rich young ruler?
Rich young ruler told him, give to the poor.
Right.
That's that whole, yeah, Mike was talking about some preacher made a whole sermon on that rich young ruler and never got to that point right there, which is the whole point of the parable.
Right.
And, you know, and that's also,
and then you could follow me.
and then also the promises that he gave. He promised that, because he told us there in the Sermon on the Mount, he says, lay up for yourself treasure in heaven. He said, this treasure on earth that you're laying up, you don't get to keep it. You don't get to keep none of it. He said, but lay up treasure for yourself in heaven, because you get to keep that.
That's right, where it won't rust.
Won't rust.
Moth won't get
Nobody
it.
can steal it from you.
Nobody can steal it.
It's safe forever. You got it forever. And this is the only way that he told us that we could lay up treasure for ourselves in heaven, was by giving to the poor. So that's some real cool stuff. So then I started thinking about something. You know, the preachers are always the same ones keep coming up there. They want you to put money in the bucket. Here comes that collection plate, you know, and they're talking about it up there. You ever heard that one? It is more blessed to give than to receive.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You've heard that one, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Like 1,000,000 times, right around
Mhm.
collection time.
Yep.
More blessed to give than receive. So I looked it up, you know. I like to see the context in this stuff here. And that's red letter, and it's Paul, and he's quoting Jesus on that. But the whole verse there, that is, what is that? Acts 20:35. I have showed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak. Laboring to support the weak. Isn't that what we talked about the last show there? Using your talents to help them people that need help.
That's right.
So laboring, you ought to support the weak and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. They're using that there to talk about putting the money in the bucket. He's saying to use your money to support the weak, the ignorant, the mentally disabled, the physically disabled, the spiritually disabled, the emotionally disabled, the poor bums on the street. That's where you're supposed to give.
And that's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Right, because we get the treasure in heaven. It's where Jesus told us to give to the poor. That is more blessed to give than to receive to the weak, because it's more blessed because you get treasure in heaven from it. You don't get no treasure in heaven from giving it to the preacher.
Yeah, you're going to see it again.
You'll see it again when you give it to them poor and to them weak people.
Right.
And you don't have to convert nobody. You don't have to go down there and convert them. You ever heard a preacher say, oh, don't give cash to a bum? No, don't give cash to a bum. They're just going to buy cigarettes or beer or gamble it away or sex magazines or drugs or something. Don't do it, man. But Jesus told us to give them the money.
Right.
They're weak. Whatever they spend it on after you give it to them, that's theirs. And then the preacher says, well, we're going to go down there and we'll get an outreach program and go down there and get this person saved. We'll go get them saved. We'll get them converted. We'll bring them to Jesus. You know, that's what we do. You keep that money and put it in our bucket, and we'll go save that person. Jesus never told us to save anybody other than ourselves. He never told us to save no bum, that's for sure. He acted like the bums are all getting in, which I don't understand that. It makes no sense to me. But Lazarus and the rich man, Lazarus went to heaven with no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Right. He just laid on the road and baked. Huh?
Hey, dude, just poor bum out here in the road, didn't have no clothes, sick, horrible shape, and he got to go to heaven.
Right.
Why? I don't know.
That's all we know about him.
Right, and all we know about the rich guy doesn't say he was a bad guy, didn't say he wouldn't go with Jesus, didn't say he didn't go to church, didn't say he wouldn't give him money at church. It said, but he just wouldn't help Lazarus. He wouldn't even let Lazarus dig through his dumpster.
Yeah, couldn't even have the crumbs.
Could not even have the crumbs that fell from his table. This guy, all this bum wanted was just let me have what you're throwing out. No, you make a big mess out there in my trash there. No, lock up in the dumpster, man. Don't let that guy out here. Well, that's the more blessed to give than to receive, and it had nothing to do with giving it to a church. And here's the other one that That, buddy, I've heard this one. I bet you've heard this one a million times too, haven't you? God loveth a cheerful giver.
I have heard that many times.
Now, y'all heard that, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
God loveth a cheerful giver. Oh, God loveth a cheerful giver.
And here comes the plate.
And here comes the plate right there. You know, dig deep, because God loveth a cheerful giver. Well, you know me. I'm going to go look up the context in this stuff. Now, that's not Jesus talking. That's Paul talking there. You know, every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. That all could fit with them going into the thing there, except that's 9. This is 2 Corinthians 9:7. God loveth a cheerful giver. But then you look at 2 Corinthians 9:8. And I'm going to leave one little line out in the middle, but just get the whole gist of it is, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye may abound to every good work. Faith without works is dead. We get that from James. To abound to every good work. Putting that money in that plate ain't a good work. Jesus never commanded us to put money in a Christian church plate. He commanded us to give it to the bum. Those are the good works he commanded. And he said, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. You've been faithful to feed them hungry, house them homeless, clothe them naked, quench them thirsty. May abound to every good work. God loves a cheerful giver that will abound to every good work. What's that got to do with putting that money in that church's bucket, man? And every good work that you put to comes back as treasure in heaven.
And you want treasure in heaven.
Yeah. But you want to be cheerful when you do it. Don't begrudgingly give it. Even if you're giving it to a church, you don't give it with cheer. I agree with the cheerful part there. But where you give it is so important. Man, that is just so very, very important. I'm saying Jesus was right on the money. And that's the one I'm going to keep hammering on, and I'm going to keep hammering on it, and I'm going to keep hammering on it. Give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven.
Great message.
That's the ones I wanted to get there with that money. Is somehow that cheerful giver and the other one, you know.
Right.
All right, buddy. We got a song?
We do have a song, and this is not a gospel song.
Well, wait.
This is a song that we wrote, but it has a great message.
Can you do a non-gospel song on a Jesus show?
I think we can do it.
I think we can too. Because I want to do a little setup for it. It's a family values song. There's a whole bunch of people in this world that ain't doing right by their own family, and this is somebody that a son is talking to his dad, and he's got something to say about it, and I think it's a pretty good song, and I'm gonna let Steve sing it for you.
Called "She Ain't Looking Back." Sometimes a woman has every right to leave her man. One day she's taken all the abuse that she can stand. And I know you're my daddy, but you ain't no good. Mama has suffered more at your hand than anyone should. And she ain't looking back. She ain't crying. She ain't putting up no more lying. The worst is over now. Her plane is gone. My mama's strong. She ain't looking back. me into this world, enduring all the pain. But on the night I was born, you were not there once again. It tears at my heart to watch my dad break down and cry. But your last chance has come, now it's gone. You've kissed it goodbye.
Kissed it goodbye.
And she ain't looking back.
She ain't looking back, Pops.
She ain't crying.
No, she ain't.
She ain't putting up with no more lying. The worst is over now. Her plane is gone. My mama's strong, and she ain't looking back. My mama's gone, she's moving on, and she ain't looking back. Take us home, Samantha.
That was real nice, man.
Oh, that was
Real
good.
nice.
That was real good. That was real good. Well, folks, we thank you so much for being with us today, and God willing, Free Preacher will be back. You brought the mood down for me.
No, hold on, hold, don't shut that thing off yet. Now that was good. That was good. You did. I mean, it was a poignant song. It was beautiful. You did good job on it too, yeah. But I want to pick it back up, and I want Samantha to get fired back up and say the goodbye again, and leave you with a real happy note.
Okay. And why'd you have to end it like that? Thank you so much for being with us today. God willing, Free Preacher will be back.
Bye.